You ever get that feeling where something just doesn't add up in your relationship? Maybe it's just a hunch, maybe it's a million little things, but you start to wonder, has she been with someone else? Today, we're diving deep into the subtle, often overlooked, yet telling signs a woman gives off when she's just slept with someone else. Get ready, because the truth might surprise you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Annie, and here we break down relationship mysteries, decode mixed signals, and dissect the behaviors that make or break trust. Today's episode gets real and raw, because, let's face it, these are the moments that keep us up at night, replaying conversations in our head, questioning every glance and word. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to the delicate, tense dance of intimacy and trust. First things first, though, this is not about creating paranoia or nuking your relationship at the first sign. People are complicated, and none of these behaviors in isolation prove anything. What we're talking about today are patterns, a cluster of changes that stack up and can be your gut's way of telling you the story your mind is afraid to read. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the first sign. Imagine this. You're together, maybe in the living room chilling or grabbing dinner. Her phone lights up, usually she's quick to check it, maybe laughs at a meme or shares the latest joke with you. But now she barely glances at it. Or worse, she notices a call or a message, but puts the phone face down or ignores it entirely, especially when you're nearby. Suspicious? Not necessarily. It's not just about the phone either. Watch for other sudden changes in routine. Maybe she starts leaving home earlier for work, or stays out later, with only vague reasons to explain the new schedule. Humans love routine, even more so in relationships. When someone else enters the picture, physically or emotionally, those routines get disrupted. It's like a new piece jammed into a puzzle you thought you'd finished. And then there's communication. You text her, maybe even call a few times, but now hours go by before you get a response. Where she once replied within minutes, now you're waiting half a day, or you get a short, non-committal answer. Sure, life gets busy, work piles up, social media is a black hole, and sometimes people just need space. But if reaching out to her used to feel like a two-way street, and now you're sitting in traffic, consider why. Sometimes silence speaks volumes, and it's not always a direct pullback. In fact, a surprising sign is overcompensation. She suddenly acts extra attentive, buying you gifts, sending sweet texts, ramping up the affection out of nowhere. Is it guilt? Is it a stress reaction? Possibly. When people feel the weight of a secret, they often swing to the other extreme, hoping to balance their guilt with warmth. It can feel good in the moment, the renewed attention, but if it comes out of left field, don't brush it off. Here's another one. Her interest in your life takes a nosedive. She used to ask about your work, your friends, your plans for the weekend. There was curiosity, genuine interest. But now, it's like she's just going through the motions. Her questions are mechanical. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Emotional investment is finite. When it's being spent elsewhere, you'll feel the withdrawal. Maybe she's suddenly protective of private time, goes for late walks alone, or disappears for hours with only a vague excuse. Space is healthy, don't get me wrong, but abrupt demands for it can signal a desire to process something, or someone, without you. Look at her appearance. Changes here can be telling. Suddenly her hair's different, she buys new lingerie, spends more effort on her looks when she's not planning to see you. Confidence boost? Maybe. But sometimes, it's about feeling validated by new attention, the rush that comes from feeling wanted. Physical intimacy is another zone that rarely lies. If sex with you has slowed, stopped, or suddenly feels obligatory, ask yourself why. People shift emotionally before their bodies do, but eventually, the distance in the soul turns up in the bedroom. Conversely, Some feel guilty and compensate by showing uncharacteristic passion, trying to erase evidence with over-the-top affection. Also, if you're ready to fast-track your success, check out my new course in the description or comments for exclusive strategies. Scent is deeply tied to memory and intimacy. New, unexplained smells lingering on her clothes or skin can be a red flag. If you ask and she gets defensive, that's another layer to the puzzle. Then there's the subtle stuff. Catch her daydreaming, zoning out at odd times, strangely happy or lost in thought, for reasons she can't or won't explain. Emotional distraction is hard to hide. When someone else is on their mind, you'll notice the mental drift, the little smiles to themselves, the silence that feels loaded. But before you jump to conclusions, let's put on the brakes for a second. Life stress, work drama, or even simply being sick of routine can cause some of these behaviors too. Context is everything, and that's why you have to look at patterns, not just isolated incidents. If you're still with me, you're either gathering clues for your next move, or you're just fascinated by human behavior. Either way, let's keep going. Picture this. You invite her out to dinner. You try to engage, but her laughter seems forced, her attention elsewhere, her warmth only flickering back on when your eyes meet hers. Sometimes, the conversation turns to abrupt defensive territory if you bring up plans she didn't mention or ask about people you haven't heard of. If things are tense enough, she might start picking unnecessary fights, creating drama out of nowhere, latching onto your small mistakes as if looking for reasons to justify her own. This is classic projection, when guilt makes someone extra critical, trying to flip blame away from themselves. Other times, she tries to avoid physical or eye contact. Maybe she hugs you, but it feels staged, like an actor remembering their lines, not a lover reaching instinctively for connection. Or she avoids situations where affection might be expected, ducking your touch, pulling away faster, suddenly too tired every night. Here's one that flies under the radar: body language. Pay close attention in those unguarded moments. Now let's tackle the tricky topic of emotional presence. A woman who's just slept with someone else may feel distant, even if she isn't acting cold. There's an emotional gap she can't quite bridge. Hesitation in her voice, the stray tear when she thinks you're not looking, or that haunted look just before bed. Love, real intimacy, shows in a person's ease. When something's changed, ease disappears. And of course, beware of secrecy. Suddenly, she's got passwords on her devices she never used before, or she scrambles to clean browser history, or gets cagey when you reach for her phone to play music. None of these mean infidelity by themselves. Privacy is a right. But radical shifts in openness point to secrets she's trying to protect. Here's another classic: evasion. You ask where she's been. Her answers are vague, details don't add up, and her stories are filled with pauses and corrections. And if you ever get a chance, pay attention to her friends. Sometimes friends know things before you do. Their awkwardness around you, the whispered glances, the sudden coldness or forced enthusiasm, these are social cues that the people around her are covering for something. Let's take a moment to talk about guilt gifts. It could be flowers, surprise snacks, a sudden trip she plans for you both. Gestures that, on their own, seem sweet and thoughtful. But if these pop up out of nowhere after a period of tension or distraction, it could be an attempt to soothe her own conscience. The truth is, people are complex. Affairs, secrets, and sexual infidelity don't happen in a vacuum. There are always reasons: emotional voids, unmet needs, psychological patterns. None of these signs mean she's been with someone else, but if several of them appear at once, it's time for some honest conversations. Paranoia erodes relationships just as fast as betrayal. Instead, talk. State what you've observed. Express your feelings without accusation. Sometimes, your instincts will be wrong. People do change, routines do shift, interest in sex does rise and fall. But if your instincts are right and the evidence is mounting, you owe it to yourself to ask for honesty. Now, for everyone at home wondering, does this mean a relationship can't recover? Absolutely not. Plenty of couples bounce back stronger after secrets or even infidelity. Painful truths, once aired, lose their power over you. What matters is mutual willingness to work through it. I know this episode is heavy, but it's important. Too many of us cling to hope when we should ask questions, or accuse when we should seek understanding. If this video struck a chord, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you've ever sensed any of these signs. How did you handle it? Thanks for watching. If you want to get the results you wish for fast, then check my limited time offer on my new course, which will skyrocket your success in dating. Click the link right now down below in the description or in the comments and grab this opportunity. See you in there.